Hi, now I am going to discuss about the census and sampling methods. The introduction of census and sampling method. In statistics, the basics of all the statistical calculations or interpretations lies in the collection of data. There are numerous methods for the collection of data. The two primary methods are the census method and the sampling methods. We will see about the census method. Census method is the method of statistical enumeration where all the members of the populations are studied. It is also known as complete enumeration because all the numbers are included in this. A census is a study of every unit or everyone or everything in the population. It is the information collected from every individual related to its subject matter of inquiry in census method. For example, the population density, which are the population details collected by the national census. Merits of census method. All the items of the analysis are studied, so there is no bias or the bias are very less. It helps the government for future planning. It gives complete information about the population. It gives more reliable and accurate information. It also covers a wide range of the study. The demerits of the census method. It is time consuming and very expensive because it involves a collection of data from each and every person or each and everything. So it requires more money as well as time. It needs a number of manpower for the collection of data. There may be sometimes chance of error or there because collecting information due to less efficiency of an enumerators. Sometimes we may lose the information while investing all the individual units during the census. Next one is the sampling method. The sample is a small segment in your population which should represent the nature and the standard of the entire population. By the study of a sample, the investigator should be able to give a justifiable conclusion about the whole population. Like the process of getting representative fraction of your population is called the sampling method. It is also called a partial enumeration. This method is suitable when the data is very large or infinite. For example, one rice is tested for a pot of boiling rice to arrive at a conclusion. Or one grape is tasted to buy a bunch of grapes. Types of sampling methods. There are two methods of sampling. One is the random or probability sampling. Another one is the non-random or non-probability sampling. These are the sampling methods types, that is the random sampling and non-random sampling. The random sampling is further divided into simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic random sampling. The non-random sampling is further divided into convenience sampling, quotal sampling, judgmental sampling. The random sampling method, it is the method of collection of data. A small group is selected from a large population called the samples. In this method, the samples are gathered in a process that gives equal chance to all the individuals in the populations being selected. It is selected by lottery method. The types of random samplings are a simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, and systematic random sampling. sampling method. It is the easiest form of random sampling, in which each individuals of the populations are included and they are given equal chance of being in the sample. Here, all the members of the population should be included in the list, and the samples are randomly selected without any predeterminations. The two main methods of this simple random samplings are lottery method and random sampling numbers. Lottery method. In lottery method, the slips are made with each individual items or each individual's names are written in the slips, and some neutral persons or unbiased persons are selected to select the items or select the slips from the entire population. In random sampling numbers, the numbers are given to the samples. It is also known as random numbers. This number was first prepared by Professor L.H.C. Tippett. Now we have to assign a serial numbers to all the items or all the units. From the random number table, we can select any page from anywhere until we reach the required number to be collected. Next one is the stratified random sampling method. It is also known as proportional random sampling. In this method, the populations are initially grouped into different groups. That groups are called strata on the basis of certain characteristics like their age or like their gender, like that. They will be grouped first. Then we have to randomly select the final list of the subject from the different groups or the different strata. But the strata are not to be overlapped. That is, it should not be collected or selected again and again. This method of sampling is particularly useful when the population is heterogeneous. This is the systematic random sampling method. In this method, the whole population is divided into number of small clusters or the groups, number of small groups. From this, we have to select this. Some of the clusters are randomly selected. It is also known as quasi-random sampling. In this method, all the items are arranged in some spatial or temporal orders. For example, the persons listed alphabetically in a telephone directory. Next one is the non-random sampling method. In this non-random sampling method, the samples are selected on the basis that does not give equal chance to all the individuals in the population. So it is biased. The choice of the sample is not free but is determined by a number of considerations. It is predetermined. Types of non-random samplings: convenience sampling, quota sampling, and judgmental sampling. The convenience sampling, it is the common sampling method. It is the cheapest, easiest, and less time-consuming method. This method is also known as a chunk, which refers to the fraction of your population to be investigated. In a whole population, if a particular persons or a particular items are selected for the information collection. That is the collection of data. For example, the telephone directory, the child birth record in your hospitals, or some of the examples for convenience sampling. Next one is the quota sampling method. Quota sampling is a type of judgmental sampling. It is a non-probability sampling method. In this method, the quotas are set up for all the characteristics like age, sex, religions, rurals or urban, etc. So the informations are collected accordingly. The choice of selecting the respondent is left to the judgment of the investigator itself. The reliability of this method is mainly depends on the efficiency, integrity, and skill of the investigator. So the reliability. Next one is the judgmental sampling method. In this method is also known as purposive sampling method. In this method, now systematic planning is needed. The investigator has the power of discretion and they deliberately select or reject any items. They have the power to select or reject any items. Some criteria of selection is laid down and the samples which are more fit are selected accordingly. This method is also known as deliberate sampling method because it is under the hands of the investigator. The merits of this sampling method is it is economically viable method because it is less costly, it saves time and it gives less manpower to collect the data. There is no need to collect information from all the members in a population or all the items in a population. Here the higher degree of accuracy is possible in this method. This method is more convenient as it does not require more number of investigators. In case where the population size is too large, the sampling method is easy and more practical. We can use it to make estimation about the population characteristics without even surveying all the units of the population. Demerits of this sampling method is we should be careful and proper planning is needed, otherwise it might leads to the erroneous or biased or misleading results will be obtained in this sampling method. The source of error are large in this method and compared to the census method. This method requires experts. If skilled personnel are not available means to interpret the data, the results drawn will be unreliable. The difference between the census and sampling methods are the census method is total or a complete enumeration method. It is partially, but the sampling method is partially enumeration. The census method is time-consuming process, but the sampling method is quicker process. The census method is costlier method, but the sampling method is relatively inexpensive method. The results obtained in the census methods is accurate, but the results obtained in the sampling method is inaccurate. In census method, no or negligible error. There is no error or only minute error will be there. But in sampling method, the error is large. The census method is highly reliable, but in the sampling method is low reliability. The census method is more suitable for heterogeneous population, but the sampling method is more suitable for homogeneous population. The census method is difficult to organize and supervise but the sampling method is easy to organize and supervise. Thank you.